This is big breaking emergency news. Multiple major U.S. cities are now going into lockdown, and they are announcing checkpoints, police checkpoints at the city limits of their cities, and they're going to be keeping certain people and individuals out. This is now being announced inside the U.S., multiple major cities. Let's get into the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on this big urgent news, and it just helps to get these warnings out. I appreciate that. So this is now being announced in Denver, in Los Angeles, and also Chicago. The authorities there, the mayors there, are saying that they are going to send the police to the borders of their city and set up checkpoints to keep out federal agents and ICE agents that are a part of the Trump administration. That is what they're saying. This is a quote from the Denver mayor. It says, "More than just having the Denver police station at the county line to keep them out, we will also have 50,000 Denverites there." He said it's like the Tiananmen Square moment with the rose and the gun, right? And you'd have every one of those Highland moms who came out for the migrants, and you don't want to mess with them. All right, so he's saying he's going to send police and set up checkpoints to keep ICE and federal agents out of the city. Okay, so it's kind of ironic that he's setting up internal checkpoints inside of his own states when he supports the federal government's borders to be wide open. So he wants to keep certain people out of Denver, but he wants the United States to be wide open. So that's what's happening in Denver. Also, the Los Angeles mayor, Karen Bass, announced a very similar plan as well too, and they just voted to be a official sanctuary city. This is also being planned inside of Chicago right now as well too, and the Illinois governor has also backed the plans as well. So this is spreading. We could see more major U.S. cities come to a standoff. And I want you to listen to this really quick too. This is the Denver mayor, and he is actually sending people that show up in Denver to Utah. All right, the Utah governor had to come out and say, stop sending people that arrive in Denver to Utah. Stop busing people over here across state lines. That is what the Utah governor was telling the Denver mayor. So he's also shipping people out as well too. He's sending people to other cities and other states, but he doesn't want to allow the federal government to remove these criminals that have a final removal order from ICE. So let me know what you think of this below, and listen to this really quick. This is a report on the Denver mayor sending these people over to Utah.
Border crisis overwhelming even self-declared sanctuary cities across the U.S. Denver's mayor is now taking criticism tonight for shipping migrants out of the state after declaring his city a sanctuary for immigrants. Utah's GOP governor wants the policy to end. Senior correspondent Alicia Acuna reports tonight from Denver.
Utah Governor Republican Spencer Cox is demanding the sanctuary city of Denver stop sending illegal immigrants to his state. A city official confirming to Fox News, in the last 18 months, Denver has purchased about 2,000 bus and plane tickets to Salt Lake City and has sent immigrants to every state in the country, insisting they do not push them to specific locations, but to, quote, where they may have support networks or job opportunities. Governor Cox says his state can offer migrants neither. On X, posting, Utah's resources are completely depleted. His office later telling us they didn't find out about Denver's plan until mid-May. Democrat Denver Mayor Mike Johnston's office insists it's been incredibly transparent in managing the 42,000 immigrants who've arrived there since Texas Governor Greg Abbott began busing them to sanctuary cities. In December, the mayors of Chicago and Denver said they were overwhelmed.
The rogue buses that are being dropped off across this country in the middle of the night, leaving people with with no real support at all, no coordination with the local municipalities.
We just want it to be coordinated and in a humanitarian way, which we think makes it effective for the city and for those newcomers.
They seem to think that we should be giving them a place to stay.
Judy Dowd runs the Rescue Mission nonprofit in Ogden, Utah. She says they are at capacity. One night, a bus dropped off 8 immigrants unannounced, and they had to turn them away.
Nobody could speak English, and we didn't have the beds for them.
The Salt Lake City Mayor's office told me their city has not paid to send migrants to other communities and doesn't plan to do so. Brett?
All right, so I just thought that was kind of an ironic report. He is very adamant about not cooperating and setting up these roadblocks and checkpoints, but then he himself has been sending people away from his city, where he's saying, hey, it's better for you to go to this other state and this other city that isn't even offering this sanctuary status. And he also said this too during a news report. This was earlier this year. He said that the city of Denver doesn't have any money, and they had to relocate a lot of these funds from different programs like the police department, the fire department, school systems, all these things. The money has been diverted to this crisis. So listen to him here really quick too. This was a few months ago.
Thank you all so much for being here this morning. I'm here to talk a little bit about the devastating impact of the failure of Republican leadership in Congress this week to pass comprehensive immigration change, and the impact that will have on both city budgets and on services that we can provide for newcomers in the city. The second is we will start to have to greenlight a set of hard decisions about budget reductions across the city to meet those costs that we know will continue to arrive. We want to talk about 2 of those today. While they're the first steps, they unfortunately will not be the last and may not be the hardest. This is a plan for shared sacrifice. And so in terms of our first step on city cuts, we are announcing today we will make some changes both to our services at DMV and to our services on Parks and Rec. Thank you all.
All right, so you heard that there. He is saying that they have been diverting funds from programs to this crisis. And something else he said too is that this bill, he was talking about this bill that was shot down. And one of the main reasons it was shot down because it would have solidified into law, allowing thousands of people per day into the country. I believe it was up to 5,000 people per day, which is still 150,000 people per month, before anything would stop, before they would shut it down and no longer process any more people for the day. Okay, so it was essentially put it into law that there's nothing they can do until 5,000 people a day in one day cross, all right, when the law itself currently says that they shouldn't allow any crossings unless they are claiming very specific things like asylum for very specific reasons, most of which are not just economic reasons. It's very specific reasons, like you are in a war-torn, devastated country, very specific countries and very specific circumstances. That's what it has always been, and a lot of these things have changed in recent years. So we could see a lot of that go back once the Trump administration is in power. We could see this Title 42 go back into place, and the Remain in Mexico policy could go back into place as well too, where the Trump administration forced people claiming asylum to wait in Mexico until they were granted asylum by a court, and that can take years. And under the Biden administration, it was changed a few years ago, I believe in 2022. That's why we saw this major increase where you can enter and wait inside the United States for your asylum claim to be processed. All right, so that was a major change that happened, and a lot of these courts are backlogged for years, so you're just waiting around years to get your court hearing to even see if this is a legitimate claim or not. And before, you'd have to just wait in a different country, your home country, or either remain in Mexico if you've already traveled all the way over here until your claim is processed. So that policy will most likely go back into place as well. So please just hit it up for me down there to help get these warnings out. I appreciate that, so people know what's going on inside of our country, inside of our cities. There's a lot of things happening, and I think we could see this spread to more cities as the months and the years go on. All right, I think this idea is going to spread, and this is going to be a big clashing point, right? So let me know what you think down below. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying prepared out there. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.